Never done this before.
What is up, everybody? Episode 283. How's everybody doing?
Is this where I
What
parked
is
my
up,
car?
everybody?
Am I in a show?
Episode 283. How's everybody doing? Make sure
Is
we.
this where I parked my car? Am I in a show?
Episode 283. All right, good. We can hear each other. Good. All right. Cody's in the chat saying,
20 minutes early.
When you miss every live until now, and then you've been here since 9:40. Hey, good on you, man. Good on you, Cody. Yeah, we well,
Maybe one of these days we'll show up early. Should we ever have like a secret pre-show? Probably not, right?
I'm not the type that is always early. If anything, I'm on time or I'm a little late. So that's always the way it is. Can everybody hear us okay? If chat's good, just want to do a sound check here before we move on here and start recording our podcast. Testing. Oh, what's up, Zombie? Zombies, our sound good? Can you hear me and Kingsley equally pretty well? Just want to make sure that's good.
Equally well.
Equally well. Yeah. That's working. Nice. I don't know how you watch YouTube while at work, but hey, I want your job. A lot of jobs don't allow you to. It's loud. I'm loud. Okay, I'll bring myself down.
If we're both loud, you can turn down the volume of the stream.
Yeah, on the stream.
But if just GATR's loud, that might mean that I'm soft. But what's your volume at?
Yeah, what's your volume at there, Zombie? You're going to be our technical producer tonight. No, we're good. Okay. Wire Factory. I put code on wire. No shit. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Wow, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, well, we have a lot to talk about tonight, and this is our roundtable episode where anything goes tonight. We brought our own topics to the table, and it's probably not going to be Destiny talk tonight. Well, all right, I my bad. There probably will be a little bit of Destiny talk tonight,
but not our topics, right?
No, not our topics. So, okay, well, if you're ready, Kingsley, we'll get this going.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
What button do I press again? Oh, never mind. Okay. You're good there. All right, here we go. 3, 2. All right, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 283 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the GATR, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we're a weekly Destiny and gaming show, and we've actually been producing audio episodes for over 5 years now. Things have changed a little over the years as our show has grown. One of those changes is that we have decided to produce a live vodcast of our show on YouTube, where you can interact with us in the chat live on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And I usually always put a little announcement or reminder in our Discord. If you want an invite to our community, it's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. We also have a replay of tonight's show on my YouTube channel, usually 48 hours later. The audio version is always available for our podcast listeners out there. We thank you. And you can also go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, to listen to any of our back episodes as well on demand. This week, it's our monthly roundtable episode. For those of you who may be new to the podcast, once a month, we produce a roundtable episode whereby members of our community bring a topic, story, article, or just a point of view to the table. The topics can be anything related to the gaming industry, entertainment, social media. I mean, basically anything that pertains to our love and hobby of the gaming life. Each of us will introduce our topic and give our opinions and takes on it. And then we go around the table and everyone else chimes in and adds to the topic of conversation. This is our holiday-themed roundtable edition, and some of the topics tonight will probably help us get through the holidays, including New Year's. In this episode, it's just you and me tonight, Kingsley. We had our guest, Monty Money, was going to be our third tonight, and he just messaged me like a couple hours before the show that he had a family emergency. So we wish him well. Hope everything's okay there, Monty Money. And RNG had a family obligation tonight, so hopefully we'll see him very soon. But tonight, Kingsley and I have 3 new topics to go over. But before we do that, Kingsley Mac, what have you been doing this week, man? How you been?
Yeah, I'm good. Glad to be here once again. What have I been doing? This week, I feel like a lot less than last week. However, much to your chagrin, I did watch Wicked a second time. My daughter, who lives on her own, she's 20 and has a house she's renting at college and stuff. And I
Yeah,
asked her the other day, I'm like, hey, have you seen the movie yet? Because I wanted to see it again, and she hadn't seen it. So I
nice.
had her drive. She lives about half an hour away. I had her drive over and paid for her to see the movie. And I will say I liked it even better the second time. I caught a lot more things. Appreciate the sound, the production, everything's so amazing. I did hear that they are going to, I don't know if this is a rumor or not, but for part two, they're changing the title. They're not going to call it part two because this first one's actually called Wicked Part One,
Okay.
but supposedly it's going to be called Wicked for Good for the second one. I
Oh,
don't know why they
okay.
decided to change this, and it's still way early because the second one's not coming out anytime soon. So again, I don't know if this is a rumor or not, but
Hmm.
an interesting thing nonetheless. And I need to watch Wizard of Oz again. It's been a hot minute, so it's on my short list for doing that. But there's other Christmas movies are on my boy. We probably don't have time tonight, but I'm curious if you have a few favorite Christmas movies you have watched or you're gonna watch. You know,
I,
because really I
yeah.
haven't done too much else, so I can pass the time over to you. But oh, I did finish
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Oh, you
Amazing
finished the
game.
game? How many hours did you, how much
Well,
time do you think it to play through the entire game?
they say, oh, that's always a good question because I tend to get lazy and not fully quit out of the game when I'm done because my gaming PC is truly just for that. I don't
Hmm.
use it for anything else. So I don't need to quit out of games to do other stuff. I have my Mac over on the side that I use for all my work and everything else. So I'll tend to keep games open forever, even if I'm not playing it. So I think it shows like an insanely huge number of hours. But I was reading that people average 20 to 30 hours for the main story,
Okay.
and then there's a bunch of side quests and things too. And I would say I spent longer than that for sure, but I can't really say accurately. But again, just an amazing, amazing game. At the very end, without spoiling anything, you feel like you're in the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie.
Really?
You know, at the end, where like
Yeah.
all the guys are getting hit by the lightning bolts
Yeah.
and their faces are melting and everything,
Really?
and not that exact thing happens, but
Okay.
something very similar-ish that you feel like you're in that movie playing it in a video game, and it's so fun.
It's crazy. I've heard some rumors about it too. I've heard one that it's going to be coming to PlayStation sometime next year,
Yes.
which is when probably I'll get it. And secondly, I heard the story was actually really good.
Oh, really, really good.
That's
Amazing.
amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, these days you hear how stories fall short, and I won't mention any names tonight, but we have problems where stories are like open ended and no one knows how they end, and that kind of stuff just gets irritating. But I'm glad you liked it, man.
Yeah, so fun.
It looks so good. Like I said, my wife never chimes up when it comes to video game trailers and stuff, and she was blown away too. So
I would I would potentially if you want to if you have a minute, and I know you don't, but
no,
don't
no,
even wait till it comes out on PlayStation because
yeah,
you can get it for $10 on just buy 1 month of PC Game Pass and play it there, you know.
dude, I'm
'Cause
I'm I'm so into Balatro right now.
yeah.
Balatro's got me by the cojones.
Yep.
It is such a fun game. I just beat the black deck last night. Well, I'll talk about it, but yeah,
Ooh.
it's been strange. I've got my Through the Storm t-shirt from Bungie. I just got that in
Yeah.
today. Can everybody see
It's
it?
always a good one. Hmm.
It's really good quality. It's a soft tee too. I love soft tees. I think it's
Oh yeah,
good.
soft tees are the best. Have you heard of Woven? That's a t-shirt subscription. That's what I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
WHOOVEN.
Yeah.
And I can't stand anything but cotton poly blends, like the soft.
Yeah.
Like if it's pure cotton,
Right.
it's scratchier. Unless you can use like a really high quality cotton, but it's still not
Yeah.
quite the same. But you don't want like the old school pure poly shirts either, polyester. So kind of like these cotton poly blends that are super soft. I really like.
Yeah. And our new store we're using threadless like Potato Thumbs does, and you've probably seen me wear some of our merch t-shirts over the last few shows we've been doing. I've got one called Better Call Lads. I've got one called Get Toddled. I got Shit's Broken. I think I've got another one. It's like Get Toddled. Some of the classics we brought over from our old store, and our old store is still there, but they did something with their process where the inks on it are fading. In fact, we had a couple people who had bought our t-shirts that sent pictures of them that they only washed them like a few times and they were just not looking good. Maybe it was just a bad run when they made those t-shirts, but that was enough for me. I immediately got them new t-shirts and took care of them. Actually, I think I sent them a hoodie to make up for it, but I know those are a lot more money. But the one thing about the new Threadless store, which we're revamping it right now. In fact, we're adding some new designs and stuff. And come 2025, that's one of the things we'll be announcing is our new merch store. Got some pretty cool shirts. And the thing I love about Threadless, they have like 5 different kinds of quality tees. The ones I buy, which I always like to wear because I'm in Florida, are the dry, the really nice dry shirts. The Nike
dry,
dries. Yeah. It's not Nike, but it's an off brand, but they're very comfortable. In fact, I wear them for my undershirts usually when I go to bowling and stuff. So they're really nice quality. And I've run them. I'm brutal in the washer and dryer. I run everything on hot and throw it right in the dryer in high heat. And they've held up really well. The prints haven't even started to peel or anything. It's just really good quality. So we'll announce that as we get closer to having our grand opening of our store. But I have been, it's been a busy week for me, man. I've just been working my tail off because I'm leaving town after the holidays. In fact, I'm getting on a plane now that I know that we have a government. We have, I don't know if you heard about that. They were last minute trying to approve budgets so they can pay their federal employees. And we were heading to the airport, and that means the TSA was not going to be around, which means we're not going to be going flying. So we heard, I think I heard just about an hour ago that the House representatives or whatever, the Senate, last minute agreed on a deal to get us through March. So that's good news. That means we don't have to cancel our trip, and we didn't have trip insurance, which means we would have just eaten the cost of that. So I'm going to be leaving town, the 26th, right after Christmas, and heading out. And I'll talk about my trip when I get back. But I have been watching a lot of TV this week. The first thing I did try, and I don't know if you've watched this yet, Kingsley, is there's a new Prime series called Secret Level. It's
no, not yet. I know about that. Yeah.
The episodes are about 15 to 25 minutes long, and they pertain to a certain genre, or actually a certain game from the past. And if you've watched, Love, Death, and Robots series on Netflix, it's very much a copy of that. It's very quick, short stories. And these are even shorter. I mean, I think most of them have been around 15 minutes, which is really short. But I have 3 episodes that I just watched lately that I really like. The first one is episode 3. It's called The Once and Future King. It has a voiceover from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that one was really good. They had the one I watched 2 last night before I went to bed. It was about Warhammer 40K. And they shall know fear. That's episode 5. Man, it made me want to just go start playing Space Marines like on my PS5, like right away. The graphical detail was just amazing on that series, and the expression in their eyes and their mask and stuff. It was just, wow. It was just really good. Not much dialogue. It was mainly a lot of showing what's going on. And then the last episode I just watched after that, and it's probably my favorite so far, is their take on Pac-Man. And dude, you're not even going to believe this is nothing like Pac-Man that you think about. And it's called the Circle. It's called Pac-Man Dash Circle. And you'll know what I mean when you watch it. But like I said, I wish the episodes were a little bit longer, but I did hear they got renewed for a season 2. So, Amazon, I want a Destiny one. Come on. If you're going to do good games, how about a Destiny and a World of Warcraft one? I mean, those are classic games in our past library of first person shooters and stuff. So I think it would do well. I've been keeping up with the new HBO Dune series, Dune Prophecy. It's been really good. I just finished episode 5 in Blood Truth, and it's just getting crazy, man. It's getting really crazy. It's really ramping up. Everything's getting pretty wound up tight. And anyone who is a Dune fan will easily get into the show and just love the lore into how it all began, with the family of houses that we know from the Dune movies. And I don't read. I'm not a reader. I didn't read the Frank Herbert books. So I'm loving that this movie is showing us a lot of background of Dune, a lot of the lore and origination stuff. So it's really nice. I started watching a show called The Agency on Paramount Plus. loaded with stars. I mean, Jeffrey Wright. I mean, I love that guy. Tons of people, too many to list. Richard Gere's in it too. The main character slips my mind. I didn't write it down, but it's really good. The initial first episode setup is really deep. There's a lot of setup in it, and it's a little busy. And it's a show that's all about the relationships that are formed while you're a secret agent in the field, and also on the back end with the fellow agents that work, behind the scenes. So far, like I said, I'm liking it. So if you want to look into that and you like spy dramas kind of stuff, it's not Jack Ryan, but it's a little bit slower than Jack Ryan. It's not total action, but it's definitely a drama. It's definitely gonna be, you're gonna have to pay attention. You won't be able to watch something like this while you're, farming something in Destiny or something. I also have been watching, I did watch the series finale of Yellowstone this week, and I actually like how they ended it. It was really, it's a great show. If you haven't seen Yellowstone, I know the hardest part about Yellowstone is knowing where it was showing, because it swapped studios, bought and sold it so many times. I never knew where the hell to watch the newest series. And then now
that's why Just Watch. I always recommend justwatch.com.
There
it's
you go.
Very easy to see where things are playing.
That's right. I remember you telling me that. I wrote that down too. But they did have the final episode of the original Yellowstone, and had a really good ending. I really like Taylor Sheridan. I love all his stuff he's done so far, but I've now moved on to his latest one that he's come out with, his latest series on Paramount Plus called Landman, starring Billy Bob Thornton. He's a regional manager of a multi-billion-dollar oil drilling company, and it really shows the gritty side of the oil business, and all the way from the top executives, which Demi Moore and John Hamm play well as the billionaire family that is trying to run this company. Ali Larter's in it as Billy Bob Thornton's ex-wife. You'll figure out how that gets in there if you watch it. And like I said, they all are really well blended into the whole story of how it works. And it's in that, of course, it's in that Taylor Sheridan style where it's a little on the machismo side, they're calling women honey and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's just how the way he looks at it. And it is Texas. So there's certain ways, nothing against Texas. I'm just saying there's a certain way they handle themselves there. As far as movies, nothing this week. We're so busy with the holiday. In fact, I just came back from my wife's school holiday party about an hour ago. They had it actually in an airplane hangar. It was really cool. I had about 200 people. And my wife and I just aren't party people. We just kind of, she talked with her. She's part of the big part of the staff for the school. So she had to make the rounds and talk to people, which is not like her. She's not that kind of person, but I pretty much just looked at my phone and talked to a few people near my table, but it's that introvert in me, it takes a lot of energy to be positive at a party. It takes a lot of energy. So we just got back from that. And, but we are, like I said, when we go out of town, there's some really killer movies coming out Christmas week. I just want to let you guys know about them here. The first one is a Robert Eggers movie called Nosferatu. It looks really good. It's the Dracula story, of course, but written a whole new way. And a new movie called Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman. That'll be out. That's an A24 production, Kingsley. I know that.
Probably... Oh, yeah. I know about this movie. It's not going to be for everyone. It's going to be one of those highly sexual movies, but
it is.
My wife and I are very excited to see it.
I am too. Finally, Timothée Chalamet's back with a biopic movie of the great Bob Dylan. It's already gotten Golden Globe nominations and hadn't even been released yet. So you know where this is going. It's going to have some Oscar buzz probably. It's titled The Great Unknown. It looks pretty promising. In fact, Rotten Tomatoes critics already have it at certified fresh 78%. So it hasn't been released yet. So thanks to my AMC Stubbs A-list, I can watch movies in any AMC in the nation. So we might catch one of those while we're out of town. So far, I've watched movies in the AMC theaters in Colorado and in Utah. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's available while I'm out this Christmas week.
Which one did you go to in Utah again? Because like I mentioned, the AMCs in Utah aren't that good.
I'm trying to remember, man.
You remember?
I'm trying to remember. It was It was
Tell
in
me
a,
it was
it was
like,
in a, it was in an older strip mall, not strip mall, an
yeah,
older mall that had like a family play area in it too.
yeah. I think you did the one up in Centerville, or you might have done the West Jordan one. I don't know, but
West Jordan sounds more like it because it
okay,
had
yeah,
like this big, it had like a lot of family, uh, like a family fair type setup, or
yeah.
it's not a
So
fair, but it's like, a lot of kiddie stuff, and you can tell it's like touristy a little bit, but
yeah,
yeah, it seemed like a place that everyone hung out to, went to on the weekends with their family. Yeah, that's the one I went to in Utah. We went to two or three of them in Colorado and Denver. Man, there's AMC's everywhere in that state. It's crazy. I mean, they're more frequent. There's more AMC's in Denver than there is in Orlando. And I mean, we have a lot in Orlando too. So, and
and there was a
also
lot in
other,
California where I grew up, also.
is there? Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it is the movie capital of the world. So, uh, let's see, as far as Destiny, I've been grinding the Dawning event, of course, because I won't be here the third week. I had a question for you, Kingsley. I know you're not doing it,
Mhm.
but maybe in the chat, if those of you who've been grinding the Dawning event, have you even heard of anybody getting these emblems yet? These special emblems that they said were rare, that it was a community event, that more people crafted cookies and stuff. Here's my thought. I think because they botched the event so badly with all the bugs and stuff in it, I think it just turned a lot of people off. I think that the Dawning, this year's Dawning may be the lowest participated in special seasonal event, because I mean, I think we heard a story. I think it was a story by I think Destiny Bulletin posted it on Twitter.
The Game Post story.
Yeah, the Game Post story here that well, let's see. I'll just share the screen here real quick.
Yeah.
That they're saying that the players are struggling to find fire teams as population drops to all-time lows. Uh, uh, I guess the person who wrote this said that, with the frustration, I know the frustration with the Dawning is not help things at all, but uh, they're saying how it was such a great live service game, and how the final shape was so great for the really hyped up the game. But they said episode Revenant already saw the lowest day one population, and it keeps getting worse due to bugs, glitches, and content. Didn't you run the numbers, Kingsley? What numbers did
Yeah.
you find out concurrent this week?
So, well, I mean, right now it's a little bit higher. First, I want to talk about like what the article's saying, and the article is kind of showing probably the lowest thing of all time. They were showing on Steam, which is usually all we can easily find numbers online. Steam got down to 11,243.
That's really low. I think that's the lowest I've
Pretty
ever
low.
heard.
Yeah. What's interesting
1,000.
also is they somehow got the numbers for PlayStation and Xbox, so we'll just assume we can believe these numbers.
Mhm.
Xbox was 22,000, so doubled, and then PlayStation was 24,000, so basically doubled also, just a titch more.
Okay.
I find this really interesting because we all know that more people play on console, but it's not much more than I thought. If you combine PlayStation and Xbox together, then of course that's
Yeah.
a pretty large number, but it's really only doubled. And I know this is just a small representation of, who knows, maybe on other times it's different. But supposedly right now on Steam, and it's a Friday night as we're recording this.
Mhm.
Right now there's 21,000 on Steam
Oh,
playing right
it's like
now.
double.
Yeah.
So we can probably easily assume probably anywhere from a low of 60,000 to maybe close to 100,000 online. I mean, that's
For
kind of,
total population,
yeah,
yes.
that's actually, I've seen those numbers before. I mean,
Uh,
there's been some dark days in the
that's so
Destiny
low
2.
though for total. Yeah.
It is low. It is low. I remember the lowest numbers I think was after the very first expansion from Destiny, the one in crap, the very small planet, Mercury.
Mhm.
That expansion, I'm trying to remember it. I can't remember what the expansion was called because it was the very first one. But I remember it dropped quite a bit after that too, because, well, we don't need to rehash all the Destiny 2 year one problems, but they were not in sync with the players, and they had to totally do about a good 180, right? Change things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But kind of the point too, if you scroll down to the another graph, is you can see, we've had a few articles so far saying it's been the lowest it's ever been, but this is again the lowest it's ever been.
Mm.
If you go down even just a little bit, and yeah,
Okay.
you can look at that graph at the very, very right.
Mm.
You can tell that's the lowest, even when you look back
It
a
is.
couple of years.
It looks like it's lower than, yeah. Mm.
I mean, a little bit's to be expected with the holidays also, and
Yeah.
then this episode is not as good, and then all the general bad news about Destiny, and also just these episodes in general are not as much content or as fun as what we've had in the past.
Yeah.
So all this is being added together. It's not even really much we need to commentate on it, other than it's an interesting
Mm-hmm.
data point for sure, and that sucks for people trying to find information.
I mean, this sentence says it all right here. There are multiple factors to Destiny 2's declining. The conclusion, the 10-year saga, persistent bugs and glitches combined with the grind-heavy gameplay has left many players frustrated. I mean, like I said, I haven't even heard about I haven't seen anybody wearing them when I'm in orbit. I haven't seen many of these emblems that they keep they touted that we would be able to get.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think the emblems too. Didn't they even say? Now, Zombie Pop said he saw one, I think, but I thought I read that they may not be coming until the later on, anyways.
Yeah.
In the event, I don't know. Maybe later, first week, later second week, later third week, if he's already seen one. But
yeah. Zombie Pop said he saw one person. He's only seen one. So anyway, I mean, let's keep in mind too. If we go back to the same time this year, I'll go back to around. We didn't have a whole lot of competition. I don't remember a lot of competition for other games out there. And I know I've been playing more games this year. That's the one thing I've definitely been doing. And they have the Destiny 2 Wrapped, right? That they just put out. I did mine. Let's see. Should I even share mine? It's pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Let me see. I'll share it. I don't care. Revenant has been probably my weakest season as far as gameplay. So, let me see here. I'm going to pull it up.
Destiny Wrapped?
Yes, Destiny Wrapped. Did you do this too?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to hear yours first. I can't share yours because you're looking at it. But why don't you read out your Destiny Wrap for 2024, and then we'll compare it to mine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is, they have a lot of these, like your Spotify Wrapped or Apple Music Wrapped. Well, someone made a Destiny Wrapped. Have we heard about this before?
I think this is brand new. It's someone made this app, and you have to get permission to tie into the UI. They have to get into the API.
The website is wrapped.report, which kind of funny. You think they would have put Destiny somewhere in the name, wrapped.destiny.report. But anyways, wrapped.report.
It is a secure website. It is secured. It's not one of these websites that, your browser's going like, hey, I don't know about this site. It is a secure site. So what was your Destiny Wrap? What did it look like?
It starts with what you've kind of played the most of, and it makes sense for me. It says I really loved raids, 41% of my time, 41.7, and even though that's less than 50%, probably it's still the highest chunk. If you add up the other things, they're going to be less than 41.7% for each other thing.
Right.
I've launched raids 121 times this year. Now that can mean just even like checkpoints and things, and I've spent 178 hours in raids. Now they give you a top 10 of activities. Maybe I won't go through all these, but I'll read a few of my top ones. This makes sense. The Pale Heart's number one. That would include, the final shape campaign and all the stuff that's on the Pale Heart along with that. I've spent 48 hours in that. It's my number one specific activity for the year, even though I spent a lot of time in raids.
Sure.
Um, Pantheon, one of the Pantheons, remember each Pantheon was separate. So the Nezrak, the hardest one,
Right.
28 hours in that. That was my number 2 activity.
Oh, wow.
King's Fall, I've ran 11 times, 24 hours in that. And then I'll just go down the rest real quick. Last Wish, then Garner Salvation,
Mm-hmm.
then Vesper's Host, the newest dungeon, then Dual Destiny, which was always fun.
That is fun. We've run that
Then
several
Val the
times.
Disciple, then another Pantheon, Atrax, and then Crotazen was number 10 for all my activities there.
Okay.
Okay, this next point, this is fun. It talks about your longest streak. My longest streak of playing was 20 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And that again was in June 2nd to June 21st. Okay, PvP. I've played 3 hours of PvP this year. I've won 11 matches. And my KD ratio was 0.8, so not horrible, I guess. It could be worse. 34% win rate. Okay. Warlock, I spent 98.2%, 1.2% on my Hunter, and 0.6% on my Titan. Most active in June, that makes sense. And then, I've played 2 games of Gambit this whole year, 14 minutes.
I'm not laughing at you. Trust me, because you're gonna laugh at what I have to say.
And then last but not least, at the very bottom, it says for my least favorite season is Revenant, which is kind of dovetailing into what we're talking about here. Yeah. I've spent 49 hours. Now, some of this could even be in orbit, I guess. I don't know if they're counting that or not. Sometimes I take the habit of not logging out of my game when I'm done because my gaming PC is truly a different computer and then I do all my work on a different computer.
Right.
But nonetheless, this does make sense that Revenant's my least played. So yeah, that's just kind of interesting. I've played 24.6 times more PvE than PvP.
My God. Wow.
So
crazy.
That's interesting. Yeah. What about yours?
Yeah, I'll just share it on the screen, I guess. Why not? Let's pull the Band-Aid off here. What do you think my most activity was?
Well, okay. So what the wild card, of course, is the Pale Heart.
Yeah.
So I am going to say that, but it could be PvP.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Can you see it yet?
No, because the stream's a little delayed, of course. Okay, now I do a patrol.
I'm a farmer, man. I love the farm stuff. These activities kept pulling you back. Cosmodrome, the Pale Heart, of course, we talked about. Nessus, Iron Banner Control, European Dead Zone Competitive Control, The Dreaming City, Trials of Osiris, Haunted Sectors, Playlist Normal. Yeah, I did a lot of lost sectors. 14 days in a row, May 24th to June 6th, which that makes sense. 98 activities. My PvP skills, win-loss rate, about 50%. KD 146. Matches played 515. 70 hours of play. Your class.
Seems low.
It's low. I've definitely played a lot less. Yeah, I've played a lot less PvP this year than I did last year. I would play every Monday, though. Every Monday I would usually do it. So, no, it just means that I'm doing different things than you guys are in the game. I'm more of a grinding and farming out materials or getting bounties done, which do you do your bounties? You gotta do your bounties, gotta get paid. Of course, no surprise, it's Warlock is 80% of my time played. And in June, of course, it was my most active
more
month.
of a Warlock than you. I was 98%.
Really? I know I spread the love. I did 10% Titan, which I don't know how I did more Titan than Hunter, but okay. June, of course, because of Fallen Final Shape. I did the Vesper's Host, Salvation's Edge. I played Gambit. I played Gambit, okay? You can't fault me. I played Gambit. There you go. And
more than me.
Episode Revenant, man, has been my weakest season. And I think, like, you nailed it, man. I think it's just been buggy. There's been more bugs lately than anything. And yeah, it's just been bad. But I have definitely spent a lot less time in Destiny than I have last year. So it is definitely suffered, that's for sure. And I'll tell you one thing. The one reason why I think that I've spent a lot less time is because I vowed in 2024 that I was going to play other games, because everyone was always ragging me because I never played anything but Destiny. And I think somewhere in the middle of summer, I decided to start playing other games. And we know Call of Duty Zombies came out. I put some time into that, but dude, it has been all about Balatro. That is my side game right now, and it is so much fun. One guy makes this game, and he thinks maybe, I was watching a story of the history of this game. This guy thought that 5 people would buy this game and play this game, and that was his family members. I don't think he ever knew that, that he would ever have millions and millions of people buying his game. Him, her. Anyway.
I
But
wish the graphics are kind of, tongue in cheek with the 8-bit, but when you're on a small screen like a phone,
it doesn't
it can be
matter.
a little hard to read stuff. And I wish they didn't lean into that 8-bit graphics so much.
I like the
It's kinda-
RGB feel though. It feels like an old monitor. In fact, some of the images will shift like an old RGB monitor did. And I like this. I like the aesthetic. It's really nice. But in Destiny, the main thing I've been doing in Dawning is, of course, making the cookies, baking the cookies. And I've been getting those gift of returns from delivering cookies to the NPCs. And I've gotten, of course, my 3 Dawning mementos, which I don't even really know when I'll put those on, but I've got them. And I've gotten tons of strange coins, because every time you give a cookie to one of the vendors, NPCs, you get strange coins. But here's the problem. And this ties back to my topic I talked about 2 shows ago. They cap you at 99 strange coins. Why? You tell me the API can't handle 199 or 999? It's a digit in programming code. Come on. 99 strange coins. So here I am in the middle of the week. I maxed out my strange coin because I'm giving cookies to the NPCs. I'm not getting strange coins anymore. So I look at my inventory, and of course, I'm at 99 strange coins, which means they don't give you any more. Yeah, they don't put them in your vault. They don't put them in your post box. They don't forward them. They just quit giving them to you. So what do you think I did in the middle of the week when I maxed out on strange coins? I quit making cookies. Why deliver cookies if I can't get any more strange coins, which is one of the reasons why I like making and delivering cookies. Also, the gifts and returns, you need those to farm the Dawning weapons. So I got a pretty good roll of the new linear fusion rifle. I've got a couple good rolls of that. Let's see, the Mistral lift. I did get an Envious Arsenal roll, but I didn't get the other one that I wanted. The other one I have is Reconstruction, which I always like to have in PvE when I'm doing DPS. So still got a little work to do there. But I mean, I have so many linear fusion rifles that work just as well, that are doing the job. So I don't know. I haven't been totally motivated to get that linear fusion rifle, but anyway. But Balatro, man, I just beat the Nebula.
You should get it just in case, if it's good down the road.
I've already got some really good Stay Frosties. In fact,
well, yeah, now you see my point. Like,
yeah, I mean,
we don't need guns just in case. They're better down
we have a lot.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I understand, Fallen, that they max us for a reason, so we'll be back and play more. But this used to work for Bungie. When you play Destiny, it would make you come back. But you know what this makes me want to do? Just go play something else. Because
it's different for everyone. You should be spending them every week, even if you don't think you need anything at Xur, because they have that mystery thing, and it usually gives you some good stuff, actually.
Yeah. Fallen says it's not a fun grind. Yeah, it's not. It's this grind is not fun, and the gifts and returns is the only way I can really focus for the Dawning weapons. I don't know how I like that, because you only get gifts and returns for about every 8 or 9 cookies you hand out. That's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work to get one of those. So thank you, LP. Thank you for this is my Santa hat for tonight. But yeah, that's pretty much me this week. But I I've been spreading my time out between TV, between Balatro, my second game. I've got I've not been playing. I did not download Path of Exile because I have like 10 other games that I just downloaded that I want to play. And I'm the kind of guy who likes to grab one game, play it, enjoy it, get my, what I paid for out of it. And then Destiny's always my fallback. Whenever I'm just wanting to piddle around and do stuff, it's always Destiny. So, but yeah, the ratio of gift and returns is terrible. Why Bungie puts these, this isn't, I'm sorry, Bungie, this isn't 2017 and 2018. We're in 2024 now. And if you make I don't know, I can look at it both ways. You'll be your hardcore gamers and Destiny players that say, well, let's just give it all to everybody. Well, I mean, this is kind of a light, the Dawning is supposed to be fun for everybody, right? It's free. Why not make it easy to pick up some stuff? Why not make it easy to get more Bright Dust or farm some weapons that you don't normally see? But anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox there. But we did have RNG Gator is in our chat, and he wants to get into the call here. So we are going to take a small little intermission here, and I'm going to bring him in, and we'll be right back. Hang in there, guys.
Oh, so we won't see an alligator with a Santa hat anymore?
When I say I haven't played PvP, I mean I. Stream. I just started hearing myself talk. I was like, why am I hearing myself?
And honestly,
Can they hear us now? Okay, I got a question then. What's up?
I love my sit-standing desk.
That's what I got. I'm gonna move the desk I'm at now is gonna move down. The desk that all my other stuff is on is gonna go out to the woods, chopped up. It's an old desk. And I'm just gonna slide my desk down, put my stand-up desk where I'm at now. There's sometimes when I'm playing like WoW or whatever, I want to stand up and play it. You know. And my wife's got a treadmill. I'm gonna put, like when I raise it up, I'll put the treadmill on like walking and just walk while I'm playing.
Oh yeah, I have a little walking pad. It's like a small
Yeah.
treadmill. Yep, I
Yeah.
put it underneath too.
I didn't like the way the background was doing my hat. That's why I turned it off. I was cutting my hat off. It was weird. That works.
Yeah, you don't have me
No, I
at
gotta
all
fix
good.
this. This will drive me nuts. This will drive me bananas.
Which one?
I have to make sure that Kingsley's lined up correctly here.
Oh, I see it.
It will drive me nuts. There we go.
Hey, did you see how bad we beat Tulane today? Beat the shit out of them.
I didn't see it. Because I was working today.
We beat them 30-something to 8. They scored a touchdown at the end because we fumbled the ball or something, and they ran it in. And that we would have blanked them.
Jeez.
Yeah, we should be optimistic about next year for Florida football.
Yeah. We look really. The Gators look really good. Yeah. Sorry, Kingsley. I'm just trying to line you up here. This is what I have to do every week, it seems. All right. Okay. Can everybody, does that look okay? Does that look presentable?
Yeah.
I'm a perfectionist.
It looks
so
great.
It drives me nuts if I don't get that stuff right.
It looks good enough.
All right. Well,
I mean, at the most, unless it's behind, you can move him down a little bit. Looks like a little black, but it's also a delayed on the stream. But other than that, it's fine. It's closer than it was when you first brought him in.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to start. This is for our podcast listeners out there. I'm going to bring you in, Gator, and just see what you've been doing this week. Okay.
Our sound is on again, right? In the chat or not yet?
We should be good.
All right.
Can everybody hear me?
Right. In the chat or not yet?
We should be good.
All right.
Can everybody hear me?
Wait for the delay.
Yep. I hear us in it. Okay.
Gotta
love live streaming, man. It's just, yeah. Anyway, but okay. Well, what I'll do, Gator, is I'll talk about my backup story, and you can just chime in, man. That's cool. All right, but we're gonna catch up and see what you've been doing this week. Here we go. 3, 2. Well, look who the cat drug in. Did I say that right? Cat drug in.
Both? Cat, yeah.
Both, yeah. Cats and dogs. I don't know. RNG, welcome, man. How you been?
Hello.
So
busy.
Kingsley and I were just catching up on our week. Let me go to you, man. What have you been doing this week?
Since the last time I was on, let's see, we had Thanksgiving. We've had pretty much the rush up to Christmas, and we're almost there. I mean, let's see. Got my tree the weekend before Thanksgiving. Got it all set up. Had Thanksgiving with the families or with my wife's side of the family. My family was at the beach. Nice. Been getting everything, presents balled, all that good stuff. Went and saw Wicked when it came out on Thanksgiving weekend. Tonight, and went and saw Sonic 3 tonight. Just got back from it. It was fantastic. And there will be another Sonic. They're not done yet. Keanu Reeves did great as
I heard he was
Shadow.
I heard he was one of the
he
enemies.
played it.
He played a bad guy.
He was Shadow. My wife and daughter had no idea that was Keanu Reeves. We're in the drive-thru on the way home, and they're like, I was like, yeah, it's Keanu Reeves. My daughter goes, that was? My wife's like, huh? I'm like, we've only been talking about this for like a year about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, me and my son, I was like, y'all have never heard us say that Keanu Reeves was going to be playing Shadow?
That perked my ears up.
It was very good. Jim Carrey does a great job as Eggman. I mean, he's done a great job in the other two movies, even better in this movie.
Right.
So it's been crazy. Like I said, it's been hectic.
Well, I know it's I know we brought you on as the host for the show because you're not the normal Destiny player. You play other games, and the last few shows we've been talking a lot of Destiny, and it's just if it's something you're not playing, then we get it, man. We get it. So we had a question here from Ruben stuff. And I'm curious what you guys have to think about this. The overlay will probably go over your head there, Gator, but I wanted to put it on the screen here. He says, I wanted to say I love your dedication and love for this game, and honestly, I'm curious. I gave up on the game as of right now after watching us kill the witness. Is it worth staying since I spent the $100?
Yes. I would get your money's worth. If you want to do the story stuff for the season, do it. That's what I'm doing. I log in when the new story stuff comes out. It takes me about an hour to get through the story. And then if don't see anything that entices me, I go on to other games. Since I paid for it, I'm going to play it. Just like
also,
when January comes around, I'll play it's the last act of Revenant in January, right?
Yeah, or February.
Okay.
Well,
January
January
17th, I believe, is Heresy.
Yeah. I'll play that, and I'll play Heresy, and then I'm probably not going to go into Frontiers. So, that's just my opinion right now.
The question is also,
John?
the person who wrote this in the chat, have you ever done any other things like exotic missions or dungeons? I mean, we have a few of those too. So people tend to sometimes forget that, like even people that have stepped away. And even if those have brought even a small amount of enjoyment in the past, and you paid the money for it, you definitely should hop in just to experience them at least once.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste your money and not get some value out of it. I mean, I did the new dungeon because, I did that Destiny Wrapped, and mine was 35.7% was stories. That was my top thing.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense. My number one activity was Pale Heart. Surprise. So, 29 hours. The next was Nessus, 5 hours. I wonder why Nessus is 5 hours. Probably because the story with the first episode.
Echoes. Echoes. Yep.
Echoes. Yeah.
Yep.
My longest streak was 13 days in a row, which was June 3rd through June 15th. New stuff came out. Makes sense.
Okay.
PvP, I played an hour. I won 5 matches, played 14 matches, and that's pretty much it.
You have me beat for even less.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
I told you I have not played PvP in a long time. That 1 hour, God knows when that was. I don't even know when that was.
Yeah.
It had to be like January or something.
I think I had 70 something hours, and I just play on Monday nights with the community. That's the only time I really play a lot. Other than Iron Banner, definitely I grinded a lot in Iron Banner. I got both prestiges done so I could get the shader and the end stuff. So,
my biggest class was Titan, 66.4. Warlock was second, 27.3, and Hunter was 6.3. The reason Warlock is second is because when the new class came out, the new Super, Warlock was just so much fun to play.
Yeah.
That and Titan were my 2 favorite. June was my most active. I beat Vesper's Post once. 2 hours played. Salvation's Edge, 1 attempt, beat it. 2 hours played. A Gambit, I have just as many hours in Gambit as I do Crucible. 1 hour. So, and then Revenant was my least favorite season because that's when everything started dropping off for me.
I know why my numbers are low too.
Yeah.
I have 2 alt accounts that I also play on. That's probably why my numbers are low. Sorry,
you should have combined it all together.
I should have. I'll look it up later and see. But I know
Stop playing on all accounts.
That sounded like a very low numbers for me. But yeah. Hey Gator, do you mind sticking around, man? Kingsley and I have some topics we want to talk about. You at least can chime in. Tell us what you think. Is that cool?
Works for me.
Okay. All right. Well, good deal. We will be back right after my mandatory bathroom break. Hang in there, guys. All right. And I think
I might have a topic for the round table,
All right. Well, you know what?
No, I'm joking.
Now.
I'm joking. No, my topic for the round table would be why musicals aren't dying off, or why musicals have actually dropped.
No, we're not going there.
I actually no. I found a thing. They actually have dropped off. So,
well, I mean, it's the times
being forced down our throat.
I don't want to get us both irate tonight. So I'll stay clear. For the chat who's listening, I'm not recording. This is the extra stuff you hear while it's not on the audio show. Is if you listened last week's episode, I wasn't a fan of Wicked, and Kingsley thought I was crazy, and RNG Grader didn't know what was wrong with my brain. So
called him uncultured.
Yeah, he called me uncultured. So, hey, I mean, it's just, musicals just have never been my thing, other than the old standards, like, like the original Wizard of Oz. And there's some other musicals like I loved Willy Wonka. The old Willy Wonka show was fantastic.
If you've watched any Disney movies, Lion King,
all
those, they're musicals.
Yeah.
Think about it. They're musicals. If anytime somebody sings to get their point across, you've watched a musical.
I don't remember The Mandalorian doing a musical.
No, you mean Disney movies,
Disney
not like
movies.
Star Wars
Yes,
Disney.
I know. I'm just being a smartass.
I can find where you live. You're not far.
You're
a day away.
You know where I live.
You're a day away.
Scarlett's on my side. Okay. Well, let's get into our topics. We're running a little
But
bit,
only
we're a little bit
5%
behind.
are on your side.
It's not it. Yeah, 95% of the people loved Wicked, and I guess I'm the 5% who were lukewarm to it. So, it's
Yeah,
all right.
don't worry. Next November, part 2 will come out.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into our first topic, and that is going to be me. And then Kingsley's going to have his topic, and then I'm going to clean up and take us out with my final topic, which is probably my most personal thing I've ever told anybody is this last topic. So, I'm a little apprehensive to talk about it, but I think it will help a lot of people, and we'll just see how it turns out. But my first topic is going to be right now. 3, 2. All right. For our first topic of the night, I'm going to bring in the first topic here. Like I said, RNG Gator didn't plan on being here tonight, so he didn't bring a topic with him, but I do want to hear his feedback on this. But my backup topic is YouTube. And it's kind of ironic. We're streaming live on YouTube right now, and this replay will be on YouTube afterwards. But I watch more YouTube than TV these days, and it's hard to detach myself from it, especially when I need to get up and go to work. My hyper focus from my ADHD makes it really difficult sometimes. The small snippets of content are like dopamine bombs that keep my eyeballs on the screen. I don't have this issue with Twitter or Blue Sky or even Discord. And I don't even really TikTok much, but YouTube just gets me. The algorithm is constantly changing what I see from one video to the next based on what I'm clicking on, it seems. I'll have a queue stuffed with videos ranging from a 3-hour podcast to a 3-minute explanation of a new feature of software I use. If I'm stuck on a video game, YouTube is there to get me unstuck and onto the next level. If I'm traveling, there are a myriad of travel bloggers out there telling me whatever I want to know about wherever I want to go. And it can be somewhere very nondescript. Did you just have a memory of an old music video from you saw in high school? No problem. The replay's on YouTube. Need some motivation? YouTube can help. Overall, it just seems to me that YouTube can be kind of used as a cheat code in life. I mean, because of YouTube, and also because I'm fairly handy, whenever I have something I need to fix in my house, like a refrigerator error code, no problem. Here's the sensor you need to replace it to, and the part number. Enter that in the search bar of Google, and boom, it's on my doorstep in 2 to 3 days. I mean, I kind of feel for these repair guys out there that most of us can just get codes from our appliances now and just order the part. And it's always a sensor that gone bad that's usually made cheaply and done. And there's so many how-to videos out there that will have very good camera angles and very good camera shots that you can easily fix your own stuff at home. So YouTube for me has been, almost a miracle. And I just don't see it going anywhere. But just keep in mind that they're an advertising company. They're not a content business. I realized that quickly after I became a partner channel. But like all things in life, sometimes watching YouTube too much can be a problem. For me, I usually watch a couple short videos in the morning while waking up and getting my day organized, and then save any other videos I want to watch later that night. When I get home from work, I like to do the add to queue option as my watch for later playlists. Usually gets forgotten if I tuck it in one of my or watch laters. It's always nice to save a pre-made playlist, but there's so much getting your attention when you first open YouTube that I sometimes forget past videos I even saved. The real problem is that there is too many videos to watch and not enough free time. So many just fall through the cracks. It's easy to see how one could have a problem disengaging from the site. Every video is designed to get your curiosity to find out more. This is the basis when I make videos, and what drives the algorithm is whether the video gets views. You have to create that curiosity in your title and your thumbnail. Some of you who have listened to the podcast for a while now may know that I had a pretty bad video game addiction when I was younger, in my 30s, and it damn near ended my marriage at the time. But I was able to pull myself out of it with a very patient wife. And I was able to stave off my addiction that was, I was going down the wrong path. And what I ended up doing was I set expectations before I engaged in any activity online. If I was going to play a game, I set a cutoff time where I had to save my progress and then get back to real life and responsibilities. And I'll be honest, it was a tough thing to do at first, but like a muscle, you keep getting stronger that the more you use that system. So as I love to watch YouTube, I have a good system that pulls me away from it. And when I really need to fix something or get a review on some new tech, it's really a great life hack. I call it YouTube University because I can learn about all kinds of new things so quickly. And the fact that I'm a visual person, I can grasp new ideas and info pretty quickly. With all that said, though, for others, YouTube could be the reason why you're lacking performance at work, why teenagers are losing sleep at night, or maybe even the reason for your divorce, or why you may be antisocial. YouTube can become an addiction too. So as I like to profligate all the time, you have to look that one up, RNG. It's all about balance in life. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you guys think YouTube, do you guys use YouTube? And if you do, how much do you watch it? And do you have problems disengaging from it when you need to? And do you think the benefits of YouTube outweigh the negatives? What do you guys think?
I mean, I have no problem disengaging from it. I don't watch it nowhere near as much as you do. I get notifications for videos people I follow all the time. I don't watch them.
Yeah.
Half the time, most time, what YouTube is for me is to watch a new trailer, like the new Superman trailer that just came out. The pick up on stuff on movies I might want to see or learn about that, or like you said, something's wrong with my car. I'm Googling it, and here comes a YouTube video. Here's how to fix it. I mean, there's and as computer guys like me and Kingsley are, I mean, how many things have you Googled that come to a YouTube video you watch on how to fix somebody's computer? Something you just, other than that, that's all I use it for. At night, I will put on, you turn on my YouTube and there's all these lo-fi
it's my daughter.
Live channels. I even have one for my dogs that I'll put the TV on.
Yep.
It's called 24/7, like just to relax, like music playing for dogs to relax them in the house. I'll put that on the TV. Like tonight we went out, that was on for them. And I'll put on, like I said, lo-fi music or Christmas music, sounds like a fire crackling or whatever. I'll put that on and I fall asleep, and I have slept some of the best, like deep sleep. Like I wake up and I don't hear the TV for like 30 seconds, and then I'll hear the music playing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really helped me. Like I'll just let it play through the night. So, because I find like a live channel that just keeps playing. That has ads, and sometimes some of the ads have woke me up because I'm not deep asleep yet, and I'm like, well, what the hell was that? And I'll skip it, go back to sleep. But yeah, I have no problem disengaging from YouTube. It doesn't but I can see your point where it's just like TV shows for me. There's so many TV shows I want to watch, but there's not enough hours in the day to get caught up on all of them.
So true.
So I just like you say with YouTube videos.
Yeah. And like I said, it's ironic you're watching the show right now live on YouTube, but I just had to point that part out. I mean, YouTube does so many cool things in the world, and I'm curious the chat. If anybody in the chat, what's your take on YouTube? Is this something you can disengage from, or is it part of your life like it is mine? Kingsley, what's your take on this, man?
Yeah. First of all, and then I'll get into some specifics, but I don't think YouTube in general is that big of a problem for most people, even younger. And I think it's just younger generation. Yeah, they're going to watch it more, but it's like our version of watching TV shows or whatever. And then plus there's a lot of reasons to keep it going all the time. Like Chet said, like my wife also uses it for sleeping, for listening to music and stuff at night. Watching little just things in the background. It's just like people that have the news ticker tape going on in the background too, on a TV in their office or something like that. I think, just to back up a little bit, I think YouTube is an interesting thing. I used to be kind of against it, not because I thought it was bad, but it just wasn't for me. And I never thought, which I did about 6 months to a year ago, I finally signed up for YouTube Premium. Now I can't live without that. I don't use it too terribly much, maybe compared to other people in the community or whatever. I don't know. I do use it a lot. There's a lot of good things that can come from it. There's a lot of things that I still think are stupid, where people make videos for everything. Where, yeah, if you're making a video how to replace a part on a dishwasher, that makes sense because you can visually see that happening. But when you're trying to find out where the collectible number 5 is for, sometimes I feel like these people could just do it quicker and easier writing an article than making a video that's
Yeah.
20 minutes and you got to fast forward to the right spot,
Mhm.
find where that
Yeah.
collectible is. It's super annoying.
Yeah.
Like, just show me a picture, like on an article, like where I can find it. I guarantee for me that'll be quicker
Yeah.
than scrolling through a YouTube video. But that's just a minor complaint of logistics.
Mhm.
I think TikTok can be a lot worse than YouTube as far as people having issues. And I'll tell you why. There's a few things, and this will probably go into your topic later too, but where things become a problem is multifaceted. It doesn't mean any of these things individually, but it can. You know, you're spending too much time, and that's different for everyone, right?
Mhm.
Only you know how much time you're spending, because especially that can mean things like if you're doing stuff for research purposes or work or even for fun, but if you have enough time in your day where you can spend 4 or 5 hours having fun compared to someone else who's too busy. So spending too much time is one, and then a second is that's very close to that, is it taking you away from other things that you want or need to do, and third is it making you feel bad. I
Yeah.
never really ever feel number three when I'm watching YouTube. TikTok, I can at times feel bad if I'm
It's a
watching
guilty
TikTok. I'll
pleasure,
be
isn't it?
depressed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mixture of like fake things that people are saying or just annoying things or real things or whatever, but there's a lot of funny and good on TikTok, but it's very easy to doom scroll there. YouTube, I feel like number three, it's probably gonna be harder for most people to feel sad when they're watching YouTube or bad.
Right.
So then you really just got to look at, are you spending too much time? Do you feel like you're spending too much time? Or even if you don't feel like it, is it taking you away from stuff you need to do? And if you can truly answer those questions, yes, then I guess it's a problem. But just to answer your question in general, it's not a problem for me. And if I had to guess, I don't know, even though we hear about kids being on YouTube all the time, I don't know if it's a big problem. Again, I would probably say other things are a bigger problem than YouTube.
I mean, it's like everything in life, right? It's about balance. Like Zombie Pop said, I don't really watch YouTube unless I'm looking for specific information or specific things. And then Scarlett says, like you said, TikTok is my weakness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you just said, but here, I have a question for Scarlett and you, Kingsley, since you brought up the TikTok thing.
What do you do TikTok too, right? A bit.
Oh yeah.
What are you guys going to do if they actually end up banning TikTok?
I wouldn't even care.
To YouTube?
That's the thing. I enjoy TikTok, but you can get a lot of those videos on, guess what? YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Yeah.
So there will be
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Yeah, there are all these people I follow.
Yeah.
Most of them are on there
It
too.
won't matter in the long run. One of
Okay.
the other ones will come up in popularity.
Okay.
Also, that being said, the latest news is Supreme Court did decide to take the case on January 10th. They're going to listen to opening arguments. So it may actually have a stay again where it won't get
Banned.
shut off on the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious what our new president's going to do with that. I guess we'll see. We'll definitely see. Okay, good points. It was a quick shot topic, and I was just going through some stuff I wanted to talk about, and this was actually originally a blog post I looked at, and I tend to look over blogs while I'm at bowling on Monday nights, and I just start putting away these articles that interest me and that kind of relate to what we do. So okay, good talk. No, we didn't have to stick on that one too much, and I'm definitely looking at the clock tonight. We're definitely running a little bit behind, but yeah, I
here's what other people think though, right? In the chat, and let us know in the feedback channel.
Yeah, let us know in the feedback channel, discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. And we have a GDC showed feedback channel. You can go right in there. Usually Monday mornings, we have a lot of people chiming in and telling us what they thought of the show. And we usually get it from a lot of our audio listeners as well. So, okay. Well, that brings us to our second topic of tonight. And we'll be right back to do that. All right, Kingsley, you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
What's up, Lord Silent? Yeah, I'm not going to get into musical talk. I don't think that's good for me to talk about.
You're fine. You're fine. I'm just.
I do have to fix Kingsley's cam. This is just driving me bananas right now.
Phantom of the Opera. I love that one too.
It was great live. I played it in high school. That's why I love that music. No, I've never seen it
This
live.
is really-
Like I said, I played Phantom of the Opera. I have the original soundtrack, like on CD
Yeah.
and everything. That's one of
It's
my
better.
all-time favorites.
Yeah. Sorry, RJ. I got it. I'm seeing a little bit of your.
That
mean,
Phantom of the Opera was so it was like watching the play to me.
Really.
Is
Yeah,
that
it
the
was
one
very
with
good.
oh, what's her name? The movie, right?
Yeah, the Phantom of the Opera movie with
Yeah,
Gerard
that was
Butler,
really
and I
good.
can't
That
think of
was
the
really-
girl's name, but
Yeah.
that one was really good. That's one of my favorite like makes of it.
Oh yeah, that was a really good one. And the Les Mis movie with
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman was really good too.
Yeah.
40K lore. I got you. Corpse D. Nice. All right. Well, thanks for the input, guys. All right. Let's get on with it, Kingsley. Let's get on with your topic. I'll bring us in. Here we go. 3, 2. All right. Our second topic. Am I thinking septic tanks? What the hell? Our second topic of the night is by Mr. Kingsley Mack. Floor is yours, Kingsley Mack.
Kingsley,
All
I
right,
think
thanks.
he just called your topic a pull up pile of shit.
No.
And you hadn't even
It was
said
not
it
a
yet.
Freudian slip. No, that was not a Freudian slip.
Topic.
I-
Break.
I'm looking at a lot of words. Yeah, a lot of words right now. So
No, it's all good. Yeah, this was just I don't know why I picked this, but just came to mind. The topic of overcorrecting. And first of all, what is overcorrecting? In case it's not obvious, the easiest example I'll give: you're driving your car, right? And they always teach you you're starting to slide. Don't overcorrect and turn the exact opposite direction. Kind of like lean
Right.
into it and turn slowly, if anything. So I wanted to talk about overcorrecting tonight. Just how it can affect us in our personal lives day to day. A little bit less in video gaming, although I might talk about that a little bit also.
Okay.
And this can even lead to, believe it or not.
yeah,
But
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So there's an article. It was
Oh, you're a Medium one reader? Awesome, man. Oh, I like Medium. It's one of my favorite blogs.
nice.
And of course,
Anyways, she starts off and she teaches dance and stuff. And she says, I've seen this countless times. I tell a dance student to relax the tension in his or her arms, and they turn into a limp noodle. Or I say, a little more tone here, and then they go all tense and sentinel on me. We all do it, and not just on the dance floor. We overcorrect. I'm as guilty as the next human, but what I've realized is it never gets me what I want. A few months ago, I was inadvertently insulted. Instead of calmly telling the guy how I felt, I bashed him on social media. A few hours later, realizing I had overcorrected, I took it down and sent an apology email. She goes on later to say in the article more about the dance analogy. I tell my students, partner dancing is a conversation you have with your bodies. Everything you do communicates something. When you hold someone too tightly, you're communicating fear, but too gently, it shows you're not committed, or you're bored, or you just don't trust or believe in yourself enough to fully show up. I use this scale of 1 to 10, she says. We all start out way too close to either side of the spectrum. Then we spend usually years swinging wildly back and forth like a pendulum. But what we want to do is eventually dance and live in that warm 4 to 6 range. Not like a wet noodle, but not like a tin soldier, but an open, warm hug. So this really hits home because for me, my personality, I tend to not overcorrect, but I see so many of my loved ones and friends and family do this all the time. And so I guess it's more just a pet topic for me, just trying to get information out to people. I do it too. Something that's really interesting, I love talking about personality types and stuff. And another way to kind of bring this in is there's, with personality types, one of the types you can be is more of a scheduled person or more a go with the flow type of person, right? And it is okay to have your base personality one way or the other. People that are more scheduled, that's actually called certainty type, right? And then the people that like more flexibility, that's actually called uncertainty needs. Now, uncertainty sounds like a bad word, but it's not for this. Like certainty is stuff like structure and routine. Uncertainty is like spontaneity and stimulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to so many of us in our lives, let's say we're normally more on the structure side, right? And we're going through our days, our weeks, our months, and then at some point, almost everyone can reach like a breaking point. They're like, I can't do this anymore. I got to change something. But what they tend to do is they just overcorrect. They go too far the other way. They'll just, that's where you hear about people even having like midlife crises and doing this, doing that, and like not scheduling anything, right? Just because they feel like they need to overcorrect, they need to change their life or whatever. Where it would probably have been better if you just like, okay, I still should have these things as a routine, but bring in a little more stimulation, spontaneity, change, movement, things like that, discovery. So you don't overcorrect, because if you overcorrect, you're going to need to overcorrect again, until you can kind of reach that middle of the ground field.
Right.
This can be a big thing with coming up with New Year's resolutions. I see people almost every year where they're like, I'm going to have a goal to do this or this, and they overdo it at first. And we've all been taught a million times, like, it's better to set a smaller goal, or you can set a bigger goal as long as you know you can do smaller goals each month leading up to it or whatever. But so many times people don't do that. They're like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then they go cold turkey on eating anything good for like 2 weeks. And then it never lasts because you can't sustain that. You gotta do it slowly. You gotta bring things in a little bit here and there. One last thing, might as well bring in the gaming topic, and then I'll hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
Gaming too, Destiny. We hear about people that, not just Destiny, other games also, but they're like grinding like crazy in Destiny, and then they get burnt out. And a lot of times I feel like, people, you're doing that to yourself. You don't have to grind that hard. They get burnt out, but then they leave like forever. And I think that's an overcorrection also. Again, like, there's nothing wrong with stepping away from the game, but like even Chet said, come back every once in a while to check out if there's new things. You don't need to like overcorrect and say, well, because I grinded so hard, I'm not going to play for like a year straight now, just on principle. Like, I mean, you can do that if you want. There's nothing wrong with that also. But, I just think I'm a very middle of the road type of guy, and I just sometimes shake my head when I see people overcorrecting. So I just thought it was an interesting topic, but I'm curious what you guys think.
There's a lot to say there.
Know,
what do you think, Chet? You want me to go, or you want to go?
No, yeah, go ahead, Todd.
Well, I wanted to answer. Sorry, my brain's working in order here. Ruben Stuff had mentioned. I forgot. Well, I forgot to answer Ruben Stuff's question when he spent. He said he spent $100. Should he keep playing the game? It goes back to your topic of burnout. What I would do, Rube, if that is your name, I would come back on the seasonal content and play the stories like Chet said. And then if you want to play you want to get further into it and start doing the tonics and all the other stuff, if you think the rewards are worth it, then do it. Now, getting back to your topic, Kingsley, man, I got so much to say here. When you say overcorrect, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, and this is going to sound really weird, but this really applies to bowling. Whenever you're bowling, you're using a set of arrows and then dots, where the lane is. And if you really want to be consistent, you need to know how to be consistently release the ball over those areas. And what happens so many times, and I do it myself, is if you're not getting the desired result, you make wild changes to, instead of going to the middle left and shooting over the number 10 board, which is basically the second arrow or so on the lane, and you're not getting the desired result, I will immediately think, well, I need to make some changes here. And what I'll end up doing is frustrate myself because I'll be moving all over the place. And maybe I just didn't release the ball consistently that one time I threw it. So I've learned over time, and this applies to life as well, to do very, very slow corrections. And I will have to get 2 throws where it does the same thing before I start to even think about moving. And whenever I move, it's a fraction. It's a board at a time. So this kind of ties in with life. Like I mentioned, I went way too hard early in my marriage in video games. I was playing Rock Band online because it was the first online game, one of the first online games I played. Call of Duty, way too much. Destiny 1, way too much. There was a lot of games, and you guys know me. When I play a game, I grab it and I really get into it. And this is the one thing, and probably the reason my hours numbers are low this year with Destiny after Final Shape, is I was so afraid I would burn myself out that I purposely made sure I spread out my time played when I'm playing Destiny, because I see it on Twitter every day. People say, I've been grinding for this stupid rifle for 18 hours straight, and then I find out there's a bug, and that's the reason I didn't get it. I'm out. You know, my question is, why are you grinding 18 hours for this rifle? Maybe grind a couple hours a night, you know, spread it out a little bit. But I realize we have hardcore gamers out there that do that. But the same thing goes with when we're talking about other than gaming. The one thing that comes to mind here is, what's everybody going to do after New Year's? They're going to say, well, it's time to go on a diet. I need to start eating right. I need to start working out better. And a lot of times what I'll end up doing, like one year, I remember we watched a video on veganism, and my wife and I decided to go vegan, cold turkey, for 60 days. I only lasted 30. We cut everything out. We were eating only stuff that didn't come from an animal that had eyes or has babies. I don't know what the definition is exactly. I don't even remember. If it has eyes, I think was the saying, you can't eat it. So there was a lot. I mean, it was a very, very narrow.
Got a lot there. Holy crap!
It said it was a very narrow and
vegan is
it's very narrow.
Than vegetarianism.
And
yeah.
I said, you know what? This is an experiment. I'm going all the way in for 30 days. And you know what happened? Not a damn thing. I didn't lose a pound. I didn't feel any better. I didn't have any more energy. So I realized that maybe instead of going straight veganism, maybe I should have just said, you know what? You know, usually when I get a steak on every Thursday, maybe ditch the steak and maybe cook some asparagus, in a pan or something instead, or maybe include some more beans or something for my protein source. So when it comes to overcompensating, I mean, this can be applied so many different ways, but when it comes to bowling, that's how I think about overcompensating, or compensating too much to the left or the right. In life, maybe my motto or my mantra right now, when it comes to changing habits in my life, it's baby steps. Just like I'm adjusting when I'm throwing and adjusting when I'm bowling on my competitive league every Monday. Baby steps, small little steps. And before you know it, like with my game addiction, over time you strengthen that muscle, and then you don't even remember when you started it. So does that kind of apply to what you're talking about, Kingsley, or did I go all the way off the deep
however
end?
you want to take it. You can even disagree.
It is a deep topic.
Those are some good personal things, yeah, from your side point of view.
All right, Chet, you're up.
I mean, we've all done the whole overcorrect thing. Being in IT, I don't know how many times I've overcorrected trying to fix something or trying to figure out a problem and working on it, and you go and to the far right, far left, trying to figure it out and realize it was one stupid little command that all of a sudden pops in your head, and you're like, wow, I just feel stupid. So, and in life, oh yeah, I do that in life plenty of times. Yeah. I have, we ain't married for 23 years and haven't done that at least once or twice.
Yeah.
For a really long time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah. I just think also it's cool for, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You wanted to add more? Good. I mean, some of these things are obvious, like with food and resolutions and stuff, but other things we should try to be mindful, even for the small things. Like once we get to know ourselves better, our base personality types, if we prefer to be someone that, and I didn't quite explain this good enough, or like if we're the type of person that generally likes things not structured, and that's fine. And then let's say we just are feeling like we need some temporary change in life, and it's okay to then change a little bit and structure a little bit more. But don't try to remember to not overcorrect when you're doing those things, because that can really just add issues, and it's generally going to make things almost worse than if you did nothing.
I mean, it's just like in my job right now. I mean, it's like there's something I can take care of. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. Let's get it done now. And then you look at it, well, this isn't due till January. Sometime the end of January, and it's like, I don't have to do it right now. But I also know if I don't at least start on it, it's gonna become January. It's like, oh crap, I gotta get this done. I do like structure stuff, and I can go with the flow type stuff, but I am more on the line of scheduled structure,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Well, thanks.
Yeah, good topic, Kingsley. When you told me you were going to talk about this, I went so many directions, and man, you can really apply this to all parts of your life, not just gaming, but in all kinds of areas. So, but I mean, that has, going back to Destiny, since this is a Destiny podcast. Yeah, don't burn yourself out, people. There's other games to play. Spread your time out. I said,
I said that so many times. Like, I get it if you're bored with the game, and I think that's different than feeling burnt out.
Yeah.
But the people that play too much and purposely burn themselves out, you didn't have to do that. That's more on you. You could have stopped playing a while ago.
I mean, also I can tell you from my point of view, where like I've gotten mostly out of Destiny. I always felt there's so many games I think I missed out on when I was just focused on Destiny. Like, I didn't want to go play other games because it's like, oh, I got to get this done in Destiny. I want to get this done. Now that I have branched out and started playing like WoW, playing the new Indiana Jones game, playing Veilguard, playing Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, all that. I just playing a whole variety of games. I don't have the feeling. I literally here in the last month have got to that point of I don't think I'll miss Destiny if I quit playing it. So I mean, I don't have that FOMO anymore. That's what I'm saying. From missing out. I don't have that anymore.
And that's why I always bring that point up when it comes to FOMO and Destiny. Bungie's still applying these rules that we still have that FOMO. And the thing is this is a 10+ year game now. The FOMO isn't as strong as it used to be, and there's a lot more things competing with our time now. So I don't know. We'll see how they change things come 2025, and that'll be another topic for another day. So, about to lose my voice here. I just came from a party, so the party was so loud. You ever been to those parties? The DJ's got the music so loud you can't even hear someone right in front of you.
You feel like you're yelling to talk to anybody?
I told my wife, I says, you know what? I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to yell. If you can't hear me, and if I'm right in your ear and you still can't hear me, then I'll just tell you later. But my voice is a little stressed from that. That's for sure. All right. Last topic is from me. And like I said, I'm a little apprehensive to talk about this, but I think it needs to be said. Be right back. All right. This is going to be a doozy of a story, guys. How long have you been married, Kingsley?
Well, my second marriage, 9 years.
Okay.
I had a first marriage for also about 9.5 years.
9 or 10.
Of course, I always tell people 9 years in with this marriage is even better than 1 year with my first wife. But surprised it lasted that long. But I have a guess where you're going to go with some of this, and you might be surprised. I'm not going to necessarily push back against you, but there are times where I feel like, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, because I feel like there is times too where people that don't understand video games will incorrectly say someone's addicted.
Yeah.
So I am curious about all this. But
and you said 23 years, Gator?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know where I'm talking to here. Okay.
Take your time, do however you want to do it.
Yeah, this is I got into a writing frenzy one night because this is from the heart. It really is. So I'll just get into it. Here we go. 3, 2. All right. To wrap things up tonight, I'm bringing something to the table that I've been thinking about for a long time now. I just want to first put out a disclaimer. What I'm about to talk about may not even apply to you. You may not be to a point in your life where this is even applicable. So if you find this topic not to your liking, then I won't be offended if you just skip ahead on this one for our audio listeners out there. But I've been watching our community over the years now, and I've seen some members come and go, which, you know, if it's not your thing, it's not your crowd, I get it. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Take care of yourself. But it's the longtime members that suddenly go dark, that seem to disconnect from all Discord servers that always has me thinking, you know, I wonder what's going on in their life right now. And sometimes I'll reach out. Hey man, everything okay? You doing all right? Sometimes I'll find out that they were spending too much time in the Discords or gaming, and their spouses were getting a little jealous of their time, or maybe something else was going on in their relationships. You know, maybe something was on the fritz. Hey, it's not my business. And that's usually as far as I'll go, trying to reach out to old friends that we talk to every day or used to. So whenever I'm talking to members in this situation, it always brings me back to all the mistakes I made when I was just getting into gaming as an adult in a relationship. And man, I have made a lot of mistakes. As I have recently celebrated my 32nd year of marriage to my wonderful and again, very patient wife, I thought I would share some tips concerning relationships and gaming, or whatever else you're into online. Kingsley, keep your mind out of the gutter, please, here. And more importantly, how you can avoid my dumb mistakes and navigate this hobby we love that many don't appreciate, or like Kingsley said, don't even understand at all why we even play games. You know, those first couple of years of marriage, you know, or even moving in together with the intent of marriage or something more, everything's great. She sneezes, you say, bless you. You hold the door for her everywhere, and you can really do no wrong. Fast forward 5 to 10 years down the road, and what used to be fresh and new is now old and routine. Add kids to the equation, and now both of you are working 2 jobs. Your career and then daycare and parenting responsibilities when you get home. Add a little money woes or sudden changes in the job situation or anything in life that changes, it can just spin everything out of control. I've been there. I'm not bullshitting you. I've been there. And I'm not just saying that as a cliche. I've encountered everything I just mentioned in that sentence. So, I mean, I can hear you guys saying, how was your relationship able to hold up all those years going through all that stuff? My answer is 20% of it is probably just dumb luck. Luck that we were both mature enough at our young age back then, you know, and not giving up on the relationship. I was 24 and she was 19 when we got married, by the way. I was very young. The remaining 80% is what I want to talk to you guys about tonight. You know, as we get comfortable and into our routines of marriage, raising kids, and everything else that comes with it, we tend to take each other for granted. We also neglect our need for personal growth. And finally, we ignore the need for continuous effort to maintain your relationship and keep it vibrant. So here are some signs that you may be headed in the wrong direction for a long and lasting relationship. And this applies to spouses, life partners, girlfriend, boyfriend, or even if you're going to get into a relationship down the road. The first sign, taking each other for granted. This is big. As you begin to feel comfortable in a relationship, you can also feel secure. And because of that, we tend to get a little complacent in our relationships. It's a double-edged sword. Partners begin to assume that their spouse, and I'm going to use that term going forward because that's how it applies to me, but apply to whatever your situation is. But you begin to assume that your spouse will always be there, which can result in a lack of effort to show appreciation. This lack of appreciation begins to create feelings of neglect and undervalue, which breeds resentment. Man, I know my wife resented me on many things early in our marriage. So circumvent this. Do what we do every day. We both practice daily gratitude. I'll give you an example. My wife and I went out to get our haircuts this week for that party I just talked about that we just came back from. And then we went and get some dinner afterwards, right? When we got home to walk the dogs like we always do every night, I said aloud, "Hey, babe, thanks for paying for the haircuts tonight." And she immediately responded and said, "Thank you for covering dinner tonight." The result We both felt appreciated and not resentful the next morning, saying things like, you know, he never appreciates that I pay for the haircuts. That's expensive for two people, you know? You get what I'm putting down? It may seem ridiculous early in a relationship that you have to say thank you or hold the door for her whenever going, but I'm telling you, it adds up over time. I have to admit where I fall short on this. I never say bless you when anybody sneezes. I just was never raised to say bless you. So when she'll sneeze like 3 or 4 times in a row, you won't hear anything from me. I'll just say, hey, you all right? So I got some work to do in that area as well, as far as appreciation. Oh, but wait, I got to show you guys something. And this is real important. Do this every week. This is a little relationship hack you can steal from me. You want to let your partner know you're thinking about them or you're not taking them for granted? Leave little notes. I know this isn't high school anymore, but try this, especially if you don't verbally show affection much. I'm going to show you a picture here real quick.
While you're saying this is reminding me to buy a last minute gift I was going to buy for my wife.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Luckily, all mine are bought.
All right.
I mean, this was definitely a last minute I was thinking about, but I was going to do it earlier today. And just what you said about the notes, it reminded me of something.
This is the inside of my cabinet. I look at this cabinet every morning. There's nothing on there that can incriminate me. You notice,
Hurry, screenshot it.
you notice what I have here on my cabinet door. This is my cabinet door. This is where I take all my vitamins, and right below it is my coffee station.
All his old people pills.
Yeah, all the old people pills, exactly.
Digestive advantages.
Digestive advantages, yep. Because I have diverticulosis, so I have to take this stuff. It keeps things at bay. This is a picture of my cabinet. But I want to show you.
Look at the hair. The man had hair.
I want to show you this.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, the man had hair.
This is a picture of my wife's cabinet. This is the cabinet that she looks in every morning. And I didn't put those notes there. She did. I have a little thing I do every few weeks where I'll hide little Post-it notes somewhere in her school bags where I know she'll eventually find it. She can be having the roughest day and find that little Post-it note in her bag. This is the one I left in the car. This is one that she saw in her office. I put on a bag of something she was bringing to the office. This is on her sunglass case. I tried some watermelon candy that was very, very hot. I realized really quick, this is not my kind of candy. And I gave it to her because she knows a lot of Latino kids at school that love this kind of stuff. So I gave it to her to bring to school she can use it for whatever she wants. You know, you gotta bribe kids when you're teaching. But little notes like this, I mean, they take maybe 30 seconds, a minute to write out. But it can instantly snap her out of any funk she's having at work. Whenever she finds my notes, she'll take a pic of it and text it to me. These are some of the examples I'm showing you of the pics that she texted me where she found my little notes. And when I showed you my kitchen cabinet door, every morning it reminds me as well. If you look at this cabinet right, come on, I got it on a slideshow here. Right, that's her cabinet. This is my cabinet. When I got 300 subscribers on my YouTube channel, she wrote me a little note. Congrats to 300 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I mean, that's just great stuff. But they take 30 seconds to make, and it can really keep things fresh in your relationship. I mean, it may not be you, but I'm telling you, try it out and see. You might be asking what the fancy messages mean. At some point years ago, one of us wrote the word fancy in one of our notes, and now it's just our thing. I can't even remember exactly the exact date we started writing fancy on our notes, but now it's our thing that only we know. It has like an inside meaning. So go to Amazon, pick up a big pack of Post-it notes, and get started. All right, I'm off my podium there. The next sign that you're heading down the wrong road in your relationship, the lack of physical intimacy. Now, Grandpa's going to talk about sex now. Time to go. Cringe.
Everyone,
Hold
close
on.
your ears.
Get your damn head out of the gutter, please. What I'm talking about here is physical, yes, but it doesn't always mean sex, okay? If there's one thing I can get across to all of you in relationships out there, this is huge. As human beings, we all crave touch and physical intimacy. You ever talk to a slick salesperson and they touch you on the shoulder to get your attention or to emphasize a point in their sales spiel? That's not by accident. It's a trained sales tactic. I'm not really a touchy-feely kind of guy when it comes to strangers, but it still works on me. So what the hell does this have to do with relationships? I'll tell you, if you want any relationship to last, you got to have this. It's a vital component of marriage. Whenever couples rarely hug or kiss or are physically close, their emotional connection slowly erodes away, and with it, usually the marriage. I mean, I bet this is one of the big reasons people cheat in relationships. It's because the partner isn't getting the physical intimacy at home or is taken for granted. Both can push them to cheat. If I didn't kiss my wife goodbye every morning, correct that, she kisses me every morning before she goes to work because I'm still passed out in bed. Or if I don't give my wife a nice bear hug when she gets home from a hectic day at school and she didn't reciprocate, we would both feel pretty distant and isolated from each other. Man, you two are facing all kinds of shit that life throws at you. You got to keep that physical connection. And yes, that means sex too. Hope my daughter's not in here. Even if you have to schedule it every week, if you don't have that emotional connection, why are you even together? All right, I won't go down that road any further, as I'm sure most of you are already grossed out already, but simple things like holding hands, a warm hug, or even just a pat on the back will boost that feeling of closeness and security. It is huge in our marriage. We don't forget ever to do it every day. All right, number 3, that you might be heading down the wrong path in your relationship. Neglecting your personal appearance. I know this seems petty, right? But hear me out. When couples become complacent and feel like their partners are never going to leave them, they begin to stop making the effort to look nice for each other. When this happens, your partner may start to feel less attraction to you, and self-esteem can suffer as they may feel unappreciated or even taken for granted that you don't take the time to look good for them. It's a subtle one, but it will accumulate in time. And if your partner may begin to feel resentment towards you, guys, make the effort to groom your damn self. Take a shower, put deodorant on. When you're going out together, maybe don't wear that sweatshirt with pizza stains on it. I know it's comfortable, but how are you supposed to have any physical intimacy when she doesn't even want to be around that horrible breath? Do better, guys. Do better. Same goes for you women out there. Men are very visual, and how you put yourself together matters to us, believe me. If you're wearing those sweats to the grocery store and you look like you just hopped out of bed with that hair, we're going to notice. And I'm not being sexist here. It works both ways. If we don't look like that, like we got it together, and your mate isn't feeling your vibe, I guarantee you they will look at other men and women who do. I'm just saying. I got to throw this out there as well. Being put together also means health, eating better, moving a little, things like that. This is on my list of things to work on, as I love candy, and it's tough to work out when you have a job that's already pretty physical. So I'm in the same boat as some of you out there when it comes to health. Number 4, the sign that you may be heading around the wrong direction. Living separate lives. Now, this is a 2-parter for me. It kind of has double meaning. What I mean when I say living separate lives is that no matter how hectic your life is, whether you have a crazy job or you got kiddos running around destroying your house and your privacy, if you have any chance of making it far in a relationship, you have to make time to do stuff together. I'll say it again. You have to make time to do stuff together. This is not a debate. If you two have your own things that you do in your life, whether it's your hobby, like gaming, work, or whatever you need or desire to do in your life, if you don't carve out time to do something together, you're going to fail. You will live separate lives, and it'll feel like you two are just roommates in a marriage or partnership. What happens to roommates over time? They leave. Don't have a roommate. Have a partner that shares their life with you. Throughout the week, I sometimes see my wife just 3 hours a day. She leaves for work before I'm up. She works a 12-hour day. Sometimes she doesn't get home till 6:30 at night. The only time I see her on some days is between the hours of 7 and 10 p.m. Then she's off to bed, and the cycle repeats itself. Keep in mind, this isn't always the norm for us, but this is sometimes happens on her busy times when she's teaching, and she's a testing administrator, so she gives testing and stuff. She's really busy. But how we approach this situation in our life is that we make sure we spend 100% of our time distraction-free. That means no scrolling on your phone while at a dinner. I did this once, and my wife literally got up and walked out of the restaurant. I'm not kidding. It's a nice restaurant, too. She realized a long time ago that we only have a few hours together, and she wants my full attention during those hours, so don't fuck it up. Put the phone down and hide the screen. You look at your phone all day, you can't put it away for a couple hours? Come on, man. My wife and I also share a hobby together. We both love movie watching, so that's why I have my AMC Stubbs A-List membership. We go see a movie nearly every week. Sometimes she picks it, and sometimes we both pick it. And if it's a Marvel movie, we pick something else to watch. And that's what Disney Plus is for, right? My point is, we both share something that we both love to do together. I have a really hard time watching a movie in a theater without her. It just feels like something's missing. We've tried Chinese cooking classes, Texas two-step dancing lessons where the instructor told us to never come back, family bowling league. She's played paintball. She's played field paintball with me, and many other activities but we always come back to movie watching. Find your joint activity you love. Hell, we consider going to the supermarket part of our together time as well. So don't think it's about money. It's not. Hike a local trail on the weekend together. Go grab a burger, even if it's grocery shopping. It's not sexy, but you'd be surprised how much you both will talk and catch up on your week from picking up some sour cream for that potato night. One thing we both try to do all the time is walk our dogs together. What's great about an outdoor walk is that there are no electronic devices vying for your attention, and man, we talk about a lot of things while on a simple walk around our neighborhood. You got to try it. It's free. Now, the second meaning from living separate lives. When we've been together as long as we've been, 35 years in total, we dated 3 years before we tied the knot. It's important that you set aside time for yourself. I know I just said to make time for each other, but it's just as important to set aside time for yourself. And for me, it's gaming, man. I love to dive in and grind out some bounties, hop in some Crucible for a few hours with the community, or even plan, a few hours to jump into a raid, which reminds me, you need to check out our new OWL activity bot in our Discord. It's easy to plan. Shameless plug, but it is. It's a really great bot. I'm usually not available to play anything until my wife goes to bed. Remember that weekly schedule of 7 to 10? From 7 to 10, my attention is all on my wife. But after that, it's my time, baby, to do whatever I want. It's important to carve out personal time and create a hobby that you love, because if all you do is hover over your partner all the time, you both are going to go nuts. Your partner also needs their personal time and space. So if you don't allow them to have it as well, they're going to feel suffocated and the relationship's not going to last. All right, I said a lot tonight, but I have a few quick hit tips here also that I just want to make sure I get out, and then you guys can comment on this. I know it's a lot. Number 1, don't hide money matters. Learn to use a household budget. Someone smart once told me that if you don't know where your money goes, then how the hell are you supposed to get ahead financially? Have a couples meeting and make a plan. This was one of my weak points early in our marriage. Don't make my mistake. Number 2, don't get set in your roles. Now, some of you have heard of my past episodes. I made a deal with my wife that if she picks up the dog crap when we walk them, then I'll be the dishwasher and she'll wake up to a clean kitchen every morning. But one night I was up late and I forgot to clean the dishes in the kitchen. but my beautiful wife cleaned it up for me when she woke up the next morning. She didn't have to She didn't have to do it. And she could have harped on me for failing my duties. She didn't say a word. And I felt like she appreciated me and didn't just see me as some dishwasher to clean up her kitchen every day. Do the same for your partner. Surprise him or her by just doing something around the house that you normally aren't tasked with. I'm telling you, guys, you can score some major points here. Number 3, you got to communicate. I realize that my wife and I are both very adept at passive-aggressive strategies, and when we have a misunderstanding, she will give me the silent treatment like no other person will. I do the same sometimes as well, but let's say I'm 2 wins in and about 2,800 losses. So take that how you will. The message here is if you don't like how things are going down or you feel like you've been slighted, you got to speak up. Otherwise, you're just going to resent them, and those deep down feelings will tear you apart over time as well. You both should feel that come what may in life, that you both are on the same team dealing with it. And if you feel something is not in balance, then you need to say something. And I'll admit, this is probably my weakest character flaw in our marriage, is I tend to fall into 2 categories. I'm either the strong silent type that doesn't share my feelings, or I'm a blabbering drama queen. So it depends on the situation. But the one thing I can tell you is in the end, we both make amends and we learn from the experience. You young couples out there that may think you know everything about your partner, I guarantee you're just getting started. And as I've gotten older, I've discovered little things that weren't easily apparent about my wife. And now I realize, and it just took me time to figure it out. It's actually the little things that make me love her even more, to be honest. Now, I got to share one more thing. As I mentioned, we both are passive aggressive types. And whenever we get into a fight, we tend to go radio silent. But eventually some alone time can put things in perspective. I want to show you a picture of something here. This is a note that my wife left on my bathroom mirror one morning. We were both having I think we had about a 2-day standoff on this one. She's being facetious about the attorney part, but the note says, "Thank you for your correspondence. I will consult with my attorneys to ensure that your apology was robust enough. I will inform you of the results this evening. Until then, love you." If you're not a big vocal person like I am, or like my wife is, notes are great for that too. So if they work for us, they might work for you guys as well. So there you go. I know I probably overshared a ton tonight, but as we approach the holidays and you're going to be around family and especially your partner more than normal, it might be a good time to try some of these things out that I mentioned. Now, also keep in mind that it takes 2 to make a relationship work. And if you're making the effort and your partner's not feeling it, then you need to go back to my last step. It's time to talk it out. My come to Jesus meeting with my wife when I was having marriage issues with my game addiction was a wake-up call for me. And if we didn't have that painful conversation, I don't know if I'd still be married today. This may not work for everyone, but it certainly has been working for the 32 years I've been doing it. And my hope is that any one piece of this advice that I mentioned tonight will make the difference for you guys as well. So I know that was a long diatribe, guys, but I know Kingsley been married 9 years, and Gator, you've been married 23 years, I think you said. So what, you guys have anything you want to add to that? I know it can get personal, so if you don't want to add anything, I understand, but that was my topic that I've been wanting to get off my chest.
I don't know who wants to go first. I don't care.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kingsley.
I took a drink.
Yeah. So one thing, and you can ignore these questions, Todd, like you do not have to answer them at all, but I'm just kind of curious, anything you are willing to talk about, because you didn't really get in, and I know it's personal and maybe you didn't want to, but I don't want to know like details, but like what was going on, if you're willing to talk about, with the video game addiction? Were you, the obvious thing is spending too much time, but the details matter a little bit. Was it like taken away from your work where you weren't making as much money, or was it just like things like you weren't spending enough time with your wife, or all the above? Or give some personal things if you want to. I mean, I'm just curious to get context.
That's actually a great question, because I can probably help people as far as the circumstances. 2 things. Yes, I was not working as much as I should have. I know I had guys doing the work, but there was areas where I failed as well, and it suffered financially. I suffered financially for it because I was I was
Gotcha.
addicted to Rock Band. I'd be playing Rock Band in the middle of the daytime. Well, I should be out working my ass off. But the main thing was that 7 to 10 every day. I know it was a lot longer back then. She doesn't work as crazy as she does now, but I was in the office 24/7. It seemed like I never left. And my kids would be, you know, where's dad? Oh yeah, dad's in the office. Don't bug him. He's gaming right now. I walked in there and he about bit my head off. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And my wife just had enough one night. She said, you know what? She stayed up and when I was done gaming for the night and I walked in to go to bed, we had that come to Jesus meeting and she was in tears. We were both in tears. Just thinking about it right now gets me upset that I put her through that. So that was the circumstances behind my gaming addiction. And what kind of got me eventually, it didn't happen overnight, but eventually I started turning things around.
No, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, man.
And again, whatever you wanted to or not want to talk about.
No, I mean, no, I think that's pertinent to the conversation.
Others too. Yeah. Well, it's all very interesting. I am married for 9 years. I did have a previous marriage, and some of these things make a lot of sense. For me, there was talk from my ex's side about video game addiction, but when it was all said and done, there wasn't any video game addiction. I think she was just making it as like one of her reasonings that she wasn't happy with me. She actually called for the divorce and I didn't want it, but when it was all said and done and we separated, it was like a breath of weight off my shoulder. I'm like, ooh, this was actually the right move. I did not think that until the actual separation happened, but when it did, it was the right thing. I won't go into all the details. It really is good for people to think about, well, like when I said things earlier, you know, ways you can know you are addicted is if there's like 3 things, and it doesn't have to be all 3, but like you feel like you're spending too much time. Someone else feels like you're spending too much time, meaning like you're not getting things done that you need to or want to get done, and even like losing money, right?
Yeah.
And it's worth, if you're not even sure, talking to a therapist, people that actually know this, because a lot of times video game addiction is more of a thing than people talk it up to be. I'm not saying you weren't, Todd, but a lot of times people, friends and family that don't understand video games are like, oh, they're addicted to video games, when that means nothing. They're not addicted to video games. It just means you don't like video games. You see someone playing it a lot. You know, I'm not trying to make any points here. It's just, this is all stuff I'm like making in my mind, but it even was said to me a little bit. So I have definitely some remembrances of that fake issue. And I really appreciate what you said, Todd, because it sounded like yours was a little more realistic on, you had some issues with that or whatever.
And I was totally blind to it. I figured she was busy doing her thing. I'm busy doing my thing. Right. But what was really happening is I was spending no time with my wife, and she was raising our kids. And this was when they were really, really young, but,
and especially if they want to spend time with you, right? It's one thing if the other person doesn't want to spend time with you, but if they do, that is the issue. And that's where it was awesome. You were able to see that of it. Well, she talked to you about it, and then you were able to see it. And
I must emphasize, it did not happen overnight. There was a lot of denial. That's usually part of addiction, is denial, right? Sure. I'm not spending enough time. I'm doing fine. I see the kids every day, right? I see the kids every day. I kiss my wife goodnight. You know, I kiss my wife before she goes to work in the morning. I'm doing the right things. But then when you start to really think about it, and it was that argument that we had where she was in tears, where it really made me start to process it. And that's when I realized that, I had a problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, some other really interesting things that I think can be good for people to learn is, that's awesome that you were able to marry young and you've been together this long. Generally, my point of view is, I'm not saying that can't work, and I'm not saying don't marry young, but my advice is it can be prudent at times if you're young and if you're considering getting married to maybe pump the brakes a little bit, really get to know the person. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be marrying them, but these things are going to come up at some point. So either you wait it out and get married later and work on your life, or you're going to go through these things with your spouse. So you better make sure it's a spouse you're willing to go through these things with, you know?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is if you get married young, you're going to have to go through these trials and phases with the person you marry.
And nothing's guaranteed either. And nothing's guaranteed.
Exactly.
I mean, I could be on the rocks tomorrow. Nothing's guaranteed in life, but I'm just saying these are tried and true things that I've used in the past that only strengthen the marriage over time.
I like what you said about one thing that's very common for people to do, especially when they are first together, and especially if you get married young, is spending too much time together. Now,
Yes.
it's not bad at face value,
Sure.
but the problem is people think every minute of the day you're supposed to be doing things, you're supposed to be with the other person. And it's an easy way of thinking when you're young, right? You see like the teens in love or the early 20s are like, oh, I want to spend my whole life, every minute of the waking day with them, but that's not a realistic point of view. And you will learn that if you get married young. That I love the other advice you said. I'm not saying this to say not spending a lot of time with them, but the people that are not autonomous at all will have issues if they think they can't have any alone time doing their own projects. And young kids eventually learn that. So that is really good advice that you gave is you should be thinking both ways. You should be thinking, am I spending enough time with my spouse? But also, this sounds ironic, but am I spending enough time by myself doing the things that I need to do for personal development?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. And it's it goes back to balance, right? You know your roles. Right. You know your roles in the marriage, and and I'm just telling you that anyone who doesn't have their own thing that they're doing to improve in life, in their relationship, you're going to get resentful. So you have to set aside time and be able to share and enjoy your hobby. And at the same time, and for me, what fixed it for me is I just have everything scheduled. When everyone wants to do a raid with me, I'm like, I can do it at 10, not at 9:30, not at 9:25, 10 o'clock is when I'm available to play. And I've set that ground rule in our house. And on the weekend, it's hit or miss. If she's out shopping with my daughter, then okay, I got time to game now. Yeah. And I love that she does things with my daughter and my son. And I love that stuff. And, that's to the point where that is important to her in her life, is to share time with my daughter and go shopping. And, you put two women together going shopping, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but man, they can spend 2 hours, 3 hours in Target alone. And I'd be going nuts if I was there with them. So I avoid that because I know I'm not going to make them have a good time. I've tagged along before when they've gone shopping, and I'm like, all right, what else is on the list? That's how guys think, we're there to get this, and this. And once we get it, we should be heading out the door, right? Oh no, they want to look at the new sweatpants that just came out or, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not being sexist, guys. For the women out there, I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying this is my situation.
Yeah. And then the last thing that hit me is what we were talking about with I think what was the point you were making with like being friends or doing stuff together? My wife and I always joke that we're friends with benefits, and I know that sounds absurd, but we love that. It works for us because we are literally best friends.
Yeah.
So we can continue to be, if you want to be friends with your spouse, you want to do things together, because if you're never doing things together, you would even do stuff with your friends together, even if you're busy, you try to see them once a month, once a year, whatever, right? Once a week if you have bowling or whatever. But if you're not doing things as friends with your spouse ever, then are you truly friends, right? And you need to have that friendship to have a good marriage. So we always joke that we're friends with benefits, but it works for us. But those were my points on that. So
and as you get married longer and longer, and I'm probably the one that's been married the longest here, probably in the Discord too. No, I think Maximo's been married about the same amount of time as I have, but you learn so much about your partner over time that you just know what they need time for in their life, and you know what the other person needs time for in their life, and you've worked out a compromise. Because it's never one way or another, guys. If you're saying I'm all in to win, this is what I want to do with my life. Katie bar the door. I don't give a shit what she thinks about. This is the way I want to do it. Then you got to meet her halfway. You got to meet her halfway. You got to make some sacrifices and some compromises and that's what a marriage is, right? You're a partnership. You are facing life together, good or bad, come what may. And when the shit hits the fan, you grab her hand and you work through it. So, sorry.
Awesome. No, that's all for me. If Chet wants to say anything.
I know I've talked enough.
I mean, there's not much else I can really add to it. I've been married for 23 years and gone through all of it. So,
yeah, you're about 10 years. You're about 10 years behind me, Gator. When I met you,
you're old. We know.
maybe more, but yeah. I mean, I met your family and I met your family and your kids, and it reminds me of 10 years earlier for me. You have a boy and a girl just like I do, so we share a lot of things.
20. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So
no, I mean, like I said, everything you've gone over, I've experienced it.
Yeah.
I've never had the gaming like problem. I mean, I played and everything, but like that. But I've learned over time now. The older I've gotten now, it's like, yeah, I'll just stay up here and watch a movie tonight instead of going downstairs. You know.
How do you and you don't have to answer, but how do you guys work together as far as sharing time together? I mean, do you guys have an untold agreement in your marriage, or?
Well, I definitely don't have that 7 to 10 thing you're talking about.
That's just on the weekdays.
That would be too regimented for me. We both, my wife and I, would not go for that. But if it works for you, great. It's a blend. It really is, because we're both kind of on the more flexible side. So I feel like we'll both bring up ideas of things we want to do, and the other side tries to be accommodating to doing those things. And then we know that we trust each other enough now. If there's something the other person really doesn't want to do, and they're like, I don't feel like doing that this time, and then usually it's not an issue. So as far as like, I would say if there's any like guaranteed amount of time we spend together, it's mostly just going to be like Sundays doing certain things. But even though there isn't other guaranteed times, if I look back, it's always several nights a week we're doing something together. So it's worked well for us.
Yeah. And Corpse D mentioned something here. He goes, sometimes chores is where, when the kids are young, that's your time together. I mean, I realize with young kids, it makes things so much more difficult, but you have to somehow set that time aside. If it means your mother-in-law or your sister or your whatever has to stop by and watch the kids for just a couple hours while you go to the grocery store, then so be it. I mean, that's personal time together though. It's not time that you're having to worry about kids. And I just see this happening in our community, where I'll see guys that are vibrant in our community, and they're raiding all the time. And you guys know, I probably have a couple of people I'm talking about, that just went dark and we never heard from them again. And usually it's 9 times out of 10, it's usually something to do with addiction or the marriage or both, or relationships or something. And that's why I really wanted to just come out and say this, especially this time of year with the holidays and stuff. And I know this has probably a lot less to do with gaming than normal. And I know I've probably overshared here a lot, but I just had to be said. This is something that
was great.
This is something that's been bottling up. As I see members in our community, I can feel what they're going through, because I went through all that. And I want to reach out and say, dude, here's what you need to do. But it's not my business. And if they don't ask for the help, then it's not my place, So I figured here in a podcast where people will listen and either go, yeah, I'm not in a relationship, I don't care, fast forward 30. That's your prerogative. But if you ever get into a relationship, keep these little tips in mind, because at least with me, they've worked wonders. So, and I don't have a perfect marriage. I certainly don't have a perfect marriage. There's times there's weeks, every week there's something probably that I messed up, and it's half the time I don't even know I messed up. So.
And I also recommend people consider, even when there's not big problems, couples counseling. A lot of people counselors are not the best or whatever, but if you find a good one, trust me, like there's been a couple times where my current wife and I have gone, once at the very beginning and once like a year ago, and they were both for like pretty preventative, like potentially we saw down the road it could be an issue type of thing, and you should also go if you're having big issues, but if you want to try to get better, but it can be really helpful, because you'd be surprised, even with all the good tips we're giving each other, both sides can be pretty wrong on a lot of things too. And it's not about who's wrong or right, but it's for us to learn better techniques to work with the other side. So yeah, that's a good thing too. I highly recommend, just you can shake your head at me, but at least consider couples counseling.
We're not big counseling people, but I can see how having someone that's outside the relationship looking in can be much more objective. I could see how that can really, and they're trained too.
Just consider it for everyone who like at least would consider it a little bit. Not saying you need to be living your life right, but
that would have definitely helped me if I would have known to do that. So yeah, that's a good point, Kingsley. Yep, good point.
It's like they also say when you're about to get married that couples counseling, you can also look at a way, again, preventative is the better way. Sometimes people just go to like 2 or 3 sessions and learn a couple techniques, but there's so many good questions especially if you're getting married young, that you should be asking your spouse, things that people don't think about when they're young, but you learn over time. Like, are you the type of person that if I change my mind on something down the road, religion, politics, big things, you know what I mean? Would you be the type of person that'd be a deal breaker? These are important things to ask as early on in the relationship as you can, so you kind of know, and then you can work through it that way.
And Corpse did have a point here. He said the ladies are doing it for us sometimes. I mean, I'm not saying that ladies are don't need it. We all, like I mentioned, we're all human beings. We need to have that intimacy with whoever we decide to have a relationship with. So it's important stuff. I mean, it sounds real basic, right? You'd be surprised how many people don't practice that stuff. And I've just incorporated into my life that I practice it every day, almost every day. So
such a good topic. And it's a deep one. And
it is very deep.
Personal. I appreciate everything.
Everyone thought your topic was deep, Kingsley. I said, oh, they don't even know what's coming. Yeah. RNG's like, man, I should have never shown up tonight. I don't know what the hell these guys are talking about.
Too deep tonight.
Yeah. But anyway, it had to be said. I see this happening all the time where, in our Discord, like I won't beat this horse, but I see people just fall out, and I know exactly why sometimes. I know why they fall out because I see them all the time in the Discord, all the time. And, some people, their work, has it where they can have their phone and they can touch base a lot on Discord throughout the day. But a lot of times, it's like everything in a relationship. You have to decide where your roles are. You got to draw the lines. And for me, the scheduling works for me in all aspects.
Good.
So
that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, good topics tonight. Kingsley, thank you for bringing those to the table. Monty Money did have another topic he wanted to bring to the table tonight, but like I said, he had a family emergency, and maybe we'll catch it on the next Roundtable episode. So thanks to RNG Gator, thanks to Kingsley Mac. You can find them in the Discord, but if they want to find you guys somewhere else, where they might be able to find you guys out there on the interwebs?
Well,
Kingsley?
for me, I'm doing a little more on Blue Sky these days. I still have Twitter. I just don't have time or desire to post a lot of things anywhere. So mostly the Discords, but if you happen to want to find me on Blue Sky, I'm there. And then just chilling in the Discord, helping with things. The scheduling's Al Sector bot seems doing pretty well, and let us know if you have any questions.
I love that bot. It's just as easy as the last one we had that unfortunately lack support, but I really love using it. So thank you for bringing that, by the way, to the Discord. I know it took a lot of research to figure out what was going to work best for us. RNG Gator, where can people find you, man?
Pretty much in the Discord and Twitter. That's where I'm pretty much at.
Want to thank everyone who stopped by tonight, and especially live and touch base and interacted with us tonight. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate the feedback in the chat, and hopefully if you had any input in the show, we at least addressed it tonight. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll know when the next show's coming live. Also, our Discord community, discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. There you can give us more feedback, ask questions for the show, or just hang out and talk with our members. There's an LFG, a Destiny Talk channel, and like I mentioned, we have our activity raid bot too, where we can put activities together. Since some people are having issues with putting games together, come on over to discord.gg/GuardianDownCast, and we got a bot in here where you can put a game together, and who knows, You might fill a full raid and be ready to go. It happens all the time, every day. So, and people from all over the world. So it's really cool to see. We just go to guardiandowncast.com where you can hear our back episodes. You can send us a voicemail. You can give back to the show too. Our Patreon community is awesome. It damn near does everything but your taxes. So check it out, guardiandowncast.com. And I'm your host, Todd the Gator. You can find me on all the socials as Todd the Gator, TODDTHEGATR, 2 Ds and GATR. I just thank everyone so much for joining the show and talking with us tonight. And we'll see you guys in the Discord. Later, Guardians.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Now, what button do I press here? Let's see.
You're on there.
You push stop.
I actually was looking for it.